All right, shall we pile on England a bit more, shall we? All right, in case you forgot, England lost in the semi-final 2-1, yes, to that Argentina, and they racked up some stats that aren't really flattering like this. 12% possession for the last 30 minutes when England was leading the game 1-0. That's the lowest by a team winning for at least 10 minutes in a World Cup match in the last 60 years. And then the big one, the second team this century to fail to reach the World Cup final after scoring first in the semi-final. And yep, they tied their own record in that. Well, Chris Turner, you know, he's been rapping around the World Cup. He caught up with some England fans outside the Comedy Cellar for a rap.
Here's Chris Turner back at the Comedy Cellar in New York. I'm here with Americans from 4 different states all over. I said I'll do a freestyle for you. It's been requested that I roast the English team's performance. Specifically, why? Why is it not coming home? Why did England fail this World Cup as every World Cup since '66?
The back half of the 20th century, it's tough for England. I mean, you know, it's just continuing what's been happening. I don't know what to say.
The team is mirroring the decline of England. This is so depressing.
I think it's because of Argentina.
I agree on that one.
I mean, if fish and chips is your standout food, you got a problem. It's not going to work.
How dare you? Blasphemy. And then...
I think it's bad luck. It's coming home, so...
You think it's coming home?
Next time.
In 4 years? Oh, so pro. Okay, so... Indian. Oh, okay. You just don't like fish and chips because it's not spicy. I see. This is cool. Well, this is a rap by England, a roast. A roast from me, so I go hard, never nicely. Let me say, my guy, he's like it's not spicy, that's okay. Seriously, flow so sick. The guy was like the food, best fish and chips. Battered, there got the place in the haddock. Cod does the job, I know I'm flattered. My guy's like, seriously, the king's on the throne. That'd be Charles next time, 4 years. Is it coming home to William? Maybe he's passed away. Anyway, we can hold on, fingers crossed for the day. Maybe finally the team will be useful. I know we gotta get rid of Tuchel if we want to do that. We're preferring English like, we don't want a German. I actually like him. He looks quite nice. You were saying, seriously, take my advice. The British Empire, that collapsed the 20th century. The half, the right back. Hey, I don't mean right back like Reece James. Still, we spit flame. We're picking the names. This is ever so fun. Yeah, I'm glad we've seen Yakina. Who's to blame? Argentina. Seriously, we flow hard, not mellow. Why did Simeone not get the yellow? Seriously, he like stuck in his leg. It's like, it's not fair. You should give him the red. I'm really angry now, like I'm red in the cheeks. We're gonna finish right there, for I can't longer speak.
All right, Chris brilliant. Turner there. Wow, Jan loved it, but we have to go to our resident...
Do you know the only thing I'm surprised at? That you didn't see me, Marker, and Dan and Frank walking in the background.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of late nights in New York.
Sorry, we're on.
A lot of late nights, the crew there. But Darky, let me come to you as our resident Englishman. I know you're a huge fan of rap music as well, but let's talk about the fact that it didn't come home, but a third-place finish, one of the best finishes in a long time for the Three Lions. Good or bad? I know I'm reaching, but let's give them something.
Why don't you come to me first? I can't follow that rap. It was brilliant.
Give us some
fantastic.
bars.
I really enjoyed that. What a performance. Yeah, but to England, I think you probably all said it, haven't you? It's a while ago since that game happened now, but they gave it away, really. To go 1-0 up, they had Argentina where they wanted them. And then it was like paragraph A, page 1 of the coaching manual, what the mistake Tuchel made, really, to just retreat. And you have to have an out ball. There has to be some speed out on the break. But there wasn't. Everybody just sat behind the ball, invited a good team onto them. They started delivering cross after cross after cross. The warning signs were there. And then there was the hydration break and a chance for Tuchel to rethink it and get England to play further up the pitch. And nothing happened. They carried on exactly the way they were with the inevitable result. I was watching the game and said to my wife, sitting in front of the TV, they're going to concede once, probably twice here. This game's going away. And sadly, that's how it happened. But they were self-inflicted wounds, really.
I mean, you can understand it in the Azteca. It was altitude. It was 10 men. Yeah. They were knackered. They had... The inclement conditions were always going to be a tough battle for them. Everybody talked about it. The lack of breath, the dizziness, what they might suffer. So that was understandable. But what they did against Argentina was inexcusable. 65 minutes, I believe it was, or thereabouts, maybe even less than that. And he makes these substitutions, and then they're camped out. We were all in the green room watching it in New York. Maka and myself.
And loving it.
There was everybody was saying the same thing. We were all sitting going, get up, get up. Everybody was going, get up, because you could see what was going to happen. And you looked at the clock and thought, and a lot of the games in this World Cup had somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes of injury time. So when you add that all on, it was the best part of 35, maybe even 40 minutes of trying to camp in your own box. And when you see how vulnerable Argentina are and were against Spain, England had this, as Ian said, this opportunity to go and like Spain would normally do. When Spain scored in their, was it the semi? I can't remember their semi-final game. Who's Spain playing the semi-final game?
France.
When Spain scored against France, they did not sit back.
Yeah.
They went and tried to get a second. England's mentality and Tuchel's mentality was to sit back and they invited pressure on.
The question that I've never heard anybody asking Tuchel. It's one thing when you're on the field and you go a goal up in a big game, and the tendency is to try and hold on to it. Now, we can talk about the captain, Harry Kane, should have done something about that. The other experienced players should have done something about it, but they didn't. But what I would love to know is what was going through Tuchel's head? Because every single time the camera went to the bench, Tuchel was sat on his backside, talking to his mate sat next to him. I mean, Craig's talking about, we're all sitting and shouting at the TV. Why was Tuchel not on the sidelines screaming at them to get up like everybody else? It makes absolutely no sense. And I've never heard anybody asking Tuchel the question. Because I'd love to know what was going through his head.
Well, luckily we do have a Thomas Tuchel whisperer right here in Jan. Jan's probably the only one that's going to defend Thomas Tuchel now, Jan. But what do you make of what the guys are saying?
No, well, it's hard not to agree with the boys because we all saw the game. But I think that now that we got this game longer ahead, we can see it not differently, but we can see why this happened. First of all, fact number one is that there's not like England gave anything away the World Cup. It was not like if Tuchel made the right decision, they would have won the World Cup. England were the third, maybe fourth, maybe fifth best team of this World Cup. So that's point number one. And point number two, I think that when we see Tuchel on the bench there, not defending him, because you can stand there, Stevie, and you can say out, but he's sitting there. I mean, this is top sport. He's making the wrong decision. That is what sport is all about. He's doing a completely wrong decision by the changes he's making, because these changes are giving his team a bad signal. Having said that, and if we can discuss that, because everybody can discuss now what we saw, and Ian talked to his missus, and they will agree on it. So everybody will agree on that. But how much to change? I'm not sure that it will be in a big change, because I don't think England were good enough to do that.
I'd have to disagree.
They were good enough to win. Yeah, and we're good enough to win the game. Be in the final.
Listen. The whole football parties in the world agree with us, so we can just sit here and discuss that. Because we agree, because we all saw that. My wife saw this as well, and she see less football than Ian's wife. I can promise you that. Yeah. Everybody saw that. But the thing is that this England team, we are not sure. We can use the phrase "they gave it away." I'm not 100% sure. Because sometimes, and you guys know that, sometimes when a team is very deep, you are also played deep. You don't have to decide that this is the best option for us to be very, very deep now. You are played deep by an Argentinian team. Yes, it was 65th minute. Yes, there were 30 minutes to go. But this Argentina team was better in doing that than England had the resistance to do against it. But we can discuss that to be agreed now for the rest of our life.
They gave Argentina the ascendancy. Yeah, they didn't. Very easily.
Argentina didn't push them back. Argentina never pushed them back.
Here's what I think Tuchel misjudged, right? And a lot of managers do these days. I think with the modern day player, he misjudged the modern day player. Not them all, but most of them need their hand held.
So it's a mentality thing, kind of.
No, they need somebody to come on and explain the basics. Almost, some of them. Yeah. It's like they need a manager to tell them to squeeze up. If he was when we were playing, If we knew, I mean, McAllister had already hit the post.
Yeah.
Nico Gonzalez had come on and should have scored. Yeah. They were peppering the goal at that point. It should, whilst it rests on Tuchel, it's sometimes as well, it's up to players to say, this is unacceptable. Jordan Pickford screaming at them, 20 yards further up the field. But if it's not happening, then Tuchel has to make them do it.
Yeah.
But listen, Craig, remember 1998? Going to bring up 1998. David Beckham is sent off against Argentina.
Yep.
Glenn Hoddle did not take off Michael Owen. He did not take off Alan Shearer, and they were down to 10 players. He kept them on to keep Argentina honest and stop their defenders joining the attack as well, and kept them guessing by making them keep switching over between centre forward and the left wing, the two of them. And that was a brilliant tactic that nearly and probably would have produced a win had that Sol Campbell goal not been mysteriously disallowed. So I don't know why Tuchel did not. I mean, that's what I'm saying is page 1 of the coaching manual. There has to be an outball, and he did have the hydration break.
Yeah,
he'd had a look at it. He could have changed it.
And then we all, but this is the same with the penalty experts. If the ball go left and the goalkeeper go right, then everybody says a good penalty. If it goes to the same corner, everybody says it was a bad penalty. So we all saw that. That's all my point. And we can criticize Tuchel as much as we want. Yes, but he's a good coach. So he did a big mistake. We all there to see. But I will also, let's add it to the next thing. Why didn't Harry Kane do anything? What is Declan Rice doing anything? Why don't the players do anything out on the pitch? And that is, why don't they do that, Craig? And yes, we need a good hand. But listen, in 99 minutes, you see coaches doing their body languages, shouting, and you don't hear a thing anyway. So the big decisions he made was, and I will recommend an interview that Fabregas did with my son, to be fair. I'm plugging my son's interview now for PFA. And he's but he's explaining exactly this situation. When you're 1-0 down, you have to do, like Ian is talking about that in 98, you can't do that. But we're sitting here now and discussing a thing. Everybody saw that he made a big mistake. But what did the players do?
Yeah, but Ian, that's why you've got a coach. That's why you have a coach. A, to give them some direction, to get the tactics right, and then make them perform.
Absolutely.
And I don't disagree with you that Thomas Tuchel, if Thomas Tuchel decided to go defensively, then that's fine. If that's the way you want to go about it. But what you do when you get the hydration break and you don't make it clear that when you're going to defend, you can't defend inside your penalty box. Because what you do then, it doesn't matter if you've got 20 bodies in there. It becomes a gamble. Everything becomes.
But don't you think, Stevie?
It's not football anymore, Jan. When there's 18 bodies in the box, it's not football anymore. And that's the point. If you want to go defensive, do that. But you have to be at least 30 yards for your goal. And then that way you stop Argentina. Argentina walk the ball from wherever
to the edge of the box.
Particularly in the wide areas.
Correct.
And if you are starting 5, 10, 15 yards, depending on what you decide, they can't do that.
Agree. But what do you think that Thomas Tuchel said in the hydration break? Did he say, listen, boys, I want you all now to be very, very low. I want you all stand together on the 18-yard box and then hope for a national lottery that they don't score. Do we think that Thomas Tuchel did that?
If that is correct,
no.
If that is,
but
if
neither
you're
did
correct,
he tell him to get up the pitch.
Don't you think it's Ian?
Okay.
Ian, when you told your wife, don't you think Thomas Tuchel told his players? But let's not be naive. Of course, Thomas Tuchel said to his team, "We want you to get out." Because everybody else. Do you think that Thomas
But what did he do when they didn't do it?
Really? Well, clearly.
What did he do when they didn't do it, Jan?
He thought he could do the same thing that he did against Mexico. He thought he could defend that box for a period of time that was going to get him to the World Cup final, and that failed miserably. You know why? Because Argentina have got better players than Mexico. Mexico were lobbing balls in the box.
Thomas Tuchel didn't know that Argentina had better players than Mexico.
Jan, I don't quite see where you are with this apologetic Thomas Tuchel stand. Thomas Tuchel made a big mistake.
You don't get it.
Nobody gets it. What's your argument?
Shall I say that for the fourth time now? That I think he did the biggest mistake, and it's his decisions who made them go like they did.
You're arguing against yourself.
No, I don't. I argue against the common thing that everybody sits now and say, yeah, he should have said this and he should have said that. Of course he wanted to get the team more out. Of course he knew that Argentina had better players than Mexico.
How do you know that?
He didn't do it.
Well, why did he not?
How do you know that?
Why was he not? Why was he not
screaming at them?
Why was he not stood in the side of the pitch going, get out? And if he was worried about John Stones, who's a very good player, but if he was worried about John Stones' lack of game time and he was worried about the space in behind and he didn't want to squeeze up because of that, he should have made a change. He should have made a change at the centre-half position and brought on somebody fresher.
And I've said it again, the biggest decisions and the wrong decision was to send players in and that signal that they're going to be deeper. I 100% agree on that. But let's not sit here and think that he is the bus driver of England and he doesn't tell the team to get out.
He was brought in to be a difference. He was brought in to be a difference from Gareth Southgate, and he made no difference. Let's be honest about it, yeah.
Exactly.
Let's be honest about it. It's not just.
You don't get what now. You don't get where I'm going. So I'm probably not a good arguer. I can't argue.
No. I'm going down a different.
You are rephrasing because you say I'm making apologies for him. I say his decisions made them go deep. But let's not sit here and say that the hydration break, he didn't do anything. He told them Argentina is as bad as Mexico. So just sit. They will
I don't know what he told them. You don't know what he told them. We don't know. But he obviously did the right thing. I want to just say one thing about Thomas Tuchel. And this, he was brought in to be something different than Gareth Southgate. Apart from the fact we can argue till, the cows come home about the last 35 minutes of that game and how much of a debacle it was during the tournament, and spare me the third, fourth playoffs. England didn't play well in the tournament. They didn't play. They got results. They played well against Croatia, maybe match day one.
This is another discussion.
But it's part of the discussion. Part of the discussion about changing the mindset and the style of play from Gareth Southgate. And if we're being honest, it did not happen.
In terms of Tuchel's job, right? In terms of Tuchel's job, England were in the top 4 in the world coming into this, right? So getting to the semi-final isn't a shock, a surprise.
No.
You're not over the moon.
You expected them.
You're not doing cartwheels down the street. But Thomas Tuchel was brought in not to be in the top 4. He was brought in to get in the final and win the tournament. And so we can argue all day about he should have done this and he didn't do that. But the most important thing is he didn't do the job that he was brought in to do. So how can he not carry the can?
He was brought in to make tweaks to the team when the team was in trouble.
Okay.
That's how I would. That's how I would phrase that.
You can't disagree with you because all football pundits in the world agree with you. So it's nothing to do with that. What we tried to discuss now, why did that happen during the game? Because it was a wrong decision. It sent out the wrong signals. That's what I meant by this Fabregas thing. He let it happen through his decisions. That's a consequence, and that's sport.
No,
and
but after his decisions, he let it happen.
But I don't like this thing that he's just sitting there. He didn't tell them anything. He thought that this is the same as Mexico. So when he saw Messi, he said, you remember that Messi guy? He's exactly like that guy number 10 at Mexico, by the way. He doesn't say that.
No, I know, but then...
Do you think he got the selection right? Do you think he got the selection right? Think of the number of flair players that were left at home. There was no pass picker in that team. He left Gibbs White at home. He left Cole Palmer at home, who had a bad season, but you'd have taken him as a possible X factor.
But I
didn't. He left Adam Wharton.
Our producer Pete says that we must stop the conversation here now. Who would have thought that England would have got everyone so fired up when majority of us here were probably happy that Argentina won that game? Anyways, don't miss Extra Time where we'll be answering all your questions right here after the show. All of these boys will be back.